O'Brien. I'm Kurt Hoover. I'll be with you throughout the afternoon. My guest, Tom Quigley. And, Tom, it is a carryover Saturday. Just under 58,000 in the pick six carryover, and I thought an extremely challenging sequence this afternoon.
I agree with you, Kurt. Starts in race number 5, and we're 1 week away from the Pacific Classic. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but fingers crossed. Nisos, journalism, and fierceness all could participate.
Yeah.
We'll find out late Tuesday afternoon, California time, when they draw the post position.
That would be a hell of a show. Just a hell of a show. Just a quick note on Torpedo Anna. Tom, to appreciate greatness in a horse, and that is greatness, and that's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Just a treat to watch that mare run.
And trainer Kenny McPeak is one of my favorite trainers, right? Because when he goes to these auctions, he doesn't have $1 million or $2 million behind him. He's able to find these, babies at auction and develop them, like you said, into superstars. Hats off to Kenny McPeak and all the connections.
Sire stands for $5,000. Of course, with a $40,000 purchase, has made $5 million. It was worth a fortune.
Not a bad return on investment.
Besides that, not a bad day. All right, let's dive into action. Let's get right to the first race, maiden special weight. What do we do to kick things off?
It's the first 2-year-old route race of the year, of the summer here in Southern California. It's kind of interesting. Obviously, all eyes will be on the 2 Bob Baffert runners. Speaking of spectacular race mares, take a look at the mares for both number 2 and number 3. Stellar Wind and Monomoy Girl, very, very accomplished. Providence, who's going to be the post-time favorite in the current betting choice, around 7-5. This is her first foal, and she's been out working he's been out working his workmate in the morning. So you have to give a little bit of a lean to Providence. I went back and looked. Every week I take a long look at DRF Formulator, try and find some statistics. Bob Baffert has started 25 maidens around 2 turns in their debut. He's won with 5 of them, so he can do it. But they're not superstars. The ones that have won around 2 turns are not the ones, not household names, the Bob Baffert runners. But it's obvious these runners want more distance. I'll side with the chalk, Kurt. Number 3, Providence. I do give a little bit of a long shot look, wise guy look to number 1, Charlie's Curlin, a son of Curlin, second-time starter. Now on the dam side, it's all turf, being bred by Glen Hill. But I just have a feeling Charlie's Curlin maybe has a little bit more ability than what he showed sprinting Andy Harrington, the clocker for NationalTurf.com. Liked his most recent work on August 17th. I'll make it 3-1 in the first race, Kurt.
I went to the horse with experience. I thought Intrepido ran pretty well in the debut. That was a very fast race. The Baffert runners that came out of there are very fast horses. The third-place finisher came back to win. Hector Barrios rides for Jeff Mullins. So I went 4-3, but not a real strong opinion in the first. Second race, to me, Tom, is a mishmash. I have no feel for this race whatsoever, so I'm going to lean on you.
Well, don't lean on me, Kurt, because I'm in the same boat as you. Same boat. So it's interesting, right, because there's so many different ways you could go. I'm going to give a little bit of preference, maybe a lukewarm preference, to the rail horse, number 1, Spearfish. Just 1 for 11 lifetime. But I do think the increase in distance to 1 1/16 will help him. Last time out, he ran a really good second for trainer Bob Hess. We talked about this on previous seminars. This horse way back when in December of 2024 broke his maiden for 50,000. Now he's in for 25. He's actually at the proper level. He's got a chance to win. I also give a little bit of a long shot look, Kurt, to number 4, Mischief's Causeway on the drop, going sprint to route, second off the long layoff. That turned out to be a key race. The winner came back to win, and then Catman Sue, who finished right in front of Mischief's Causeway, came back to win yesterday, earning a good buyer speed figure. So I like the company. Obviously, there's no Sir Rockets in this particular field. It's a bit of a guess, but Carla gets Antonio Fresu ride. Again, the rail, 1-4 for me in race number 2.
I picked the 3 with no confidence. Volatile Storm, the new face for a trainer I'm not very familiar with, but the numbers are good. That's all that matters to me. 5 wins from 24 starters. Should get a nice tracking kind of trip, and I thought Spearfish was the horse to beat. Biggest thing for Spearfish, the added distance. Really going to help his style. Like the fact Kimura rides him back. That's a big plus,
and your
too.
top pick, Kurt, eligible for the ship and win bonus, which is why I'm sure they're here in Southern California.
3-1 for me in the second. On to the third race. $20,000 claimers line up for this one, a field of 7. I thought, again, a very difficult race. I really thought you could make a quick case for any horse in the race.
This I have a strong opinion on, Kurt, and it's basically all related to a trainer statistic that I was able to dig up once again out of Daily Racing Form Formulator. And specifically, it relates to number 5, Clooney, trained by Peter Miller. First time in the Peter Miller barn. Here's the statistic, Kurt. Clooney, trained by Peter Miller, as I mentioned, trainer Peter Miller has only done this 5 times over the last 5 years, which is bring a horse back in a dirt route with a layoff in excess of 180 days. He's done it 5 times, only 5 times over the last 5 years. He's hit the winner's circle 3 of those 5 times. So 60% of the time, it's a little bit of a hidden nugget. Peter Miller, off the long layoff when he enters a horse on the main track going 2 turns, he means business. Clooney was cut out to be a nice horse. You can see the purchase price at auction was $750,000. He never lived up to those expectations, but again, he gets Antonio Fresu to ride 9-2 on the morning line. Seems like more than a fair price for me. And Contrarian Chieftain, we also spoke about this last time, Kurt. Mark Glatt does not bring horses back quickly. This is first off the claim. I know this is a move you like. A trainer that makes a claim, quickly brings the horse back and jumps it up in class. Yeah. He's screaming to you that that he likes his purchase, and this horse is 6 for 8, either first or second so far this year. Contrarian Chieftain, first off the claim for Mark Lapp, my second choice, but one of my stronger opinions on the day, number 5, Clooney, my top choice.
I picked it the same way. Tom, 5-1. I cashed a nice bet on Clooney when he won 3 starts back. He won gigantic. Obviously, he's got issues, so coming back for 20 makes sense. You get Frey, so I picked him on top, and Contrarian Chieftain for all the reasons you talked about. 5-1 for me in the third. One leg in front of the pick 6, race number 4. It's still a short price. Faced the boys last time. The horse to beat. Do you go there or do you look elsewhere, Tom?
I'm going there, Kurt. Peter Miller maybe getting the daily double between races 3 and 4 because Itzel, as you mentioned last time out, came off the layoff of shipping in from Oaklawn Park and ran against the boys, as you mentioned. To home pass, the winner of that race actually was also trained by Peter Miller, got the victory done, and Bad Uncle Barry, who came back to win next time out, earned a big Buyer speed figure as well. Now takes a realistic drop down in class. They're probably going to get claimed. She's a 5-year-old mare. She's in for the tag, like you mentioned. 8-5 morning line favorite. I'll take the chalk. I also gave a little bit of a look to number 2, Diamond Bar Gal. She's a lightly raced 5-year-old mare. She only has 9 lifetime starts, but 2 of her 3 career victories were right here at Del Mar at this distance. She's got a good inside post. She's got early speed. I'll make race 4 5-2 in that order.
I was 5-7. It's sell on top. I thought Tam's Little Angel might get a nice trip on the outside. Takes a little drop for Hector Palma. Draws well, can finish a little bit. 5-7 for me in the 4th race. Okay, it is pick 6 time. Just under $58,000 starts things off, and we got one of these tough maiden Cowbred 50s. How do you sort this one out?
This is a really tough way to kick it off, Kurt. I mean, you're going to have to use a lot of runners in this field if you want to be alive. Even after you see them in the post-brig and you take a look at the tote board action, I'm going to go bombs away in this first leg, as a matter of fact. I'm not sold on any of the favorites. I like number 4, Mom Says, and I've talked about this many times in the seminar as well. I like when there's a bad running line, but the jockey who rode that horse in his debut comes back to ride.
Especially a top jock.
Correct.
Who doesn't have to.
Exactly, and I'm referring to number 4, Mom Says. Here's some things that I like about Mom Says, irregardless of the performance going 2 turns. He got bet that day, 11-1 in a 9-horse field on debut. I like the way he looked in the paddock, and he never picked up his feet. Who knows what happened?
Yeah.
Maybe he lost a shoe, maybe he swallowed his tongue, maybe he bled through the Lasix. I don't know, but that bad running line is going to increase the price today. If this was a debut runner, there's no way Mom Says would be 15-1 on the morning line. That bad running line is our best friend. Blinkers go on, as we talked about. Kurt Hector Barrows comes back to ride. I like number 4, Mom Says on top. Also, not very attractive from a Buyer speed figure standpoint, but another good trainer statistic courtesy of the Daily Racing Form formulator. Trainer Richie Baltus, who trains number 1, Citizen Barrett, he is 7 for 17 with runners coming back in a dirt sprint in excess of 180 days. That's a 41% win percentage. Ricky Gonzalez rode this horse on debut to a good second-place finish. He's going to have to improve off the layoffs since January, but I like his price. In a very inscrutable race, I'll make it 4-1 to kick it off, Kurt.
Very difficult race. Tom, I picked the 8 Bazooka Charlie for one of my favorite barns, Steve Miotti. He chalked up another one yesterday. I love these maiden claimers that route and drop back to a sprint because he's going to be fit off that race. Drawn outside, I thought was the horse to beat. 10 figures, gets Lasix and Kimura. And I also used in the pick 6 the 4 horse, Mom Says, for all reasons you said. Also blinkers going on. So I was 8-9-4 in race number 5 for the pick 6 ticket. On to race number 6 on the turf. Big field here of maidens going 1 mile and a 16th for California breds.
Hate to be Captain Obvious, Kurt, but if you take a look through the running lines for the runners in race number 6, there is 0 early speed.
Exactly.
At least what's on paper. All the runners who have performed up to this point have not exhibited any tendency to go to the early lead. Because of that, by default, I land on the morning line favorite number 1, Big Bill. Trained by Mark Latt, gets a pivotal jockey change over to Umberto Rispoli. All Umberto has to do is put this horse on an early, uncontested lead, and I think the race is over. Last time I lost to a freak, Vodka Vodka, who came back for Aggie Andonez. That particular horse wired the field that day with a good Buyer speed figure. I don't think there's any such animals like that in today's 6th race. I do give a little bit of a long shot look to a horse that made Brad Free from the Daily Racing Form Horses to Watch list. That would specifically be number 3, War Swift, going from a sprint to a route for trainer George Papapadromo. Brad Free and his Horses to Watch column wrote, ran sneaky good, big finish, galloped down in front, and wants longer. Well, that's exactly what he gets today. He's the only 4-year-old in the field. I'll make another difficult race if you're willing to beat Big Bill. I'll make, my top 2 selections in race number 6, 1 and 3 in that order.
I'm with you on Big Bill. I think it'll be tough to beat today. Vodka Vodka freaked, just one off. So Big Bill to me ran a winning race. He just ran into a very fast horse. The pace scenario favors him immensely, I think. So I like the same horse on top. I bet on Mavman last time. I thought he ran better than looks in his debut, and I think he'll get a lot out of that race. I think he can move forward. So 1-4 for me in this afternoon's 6th. On to the 7th, we tip off the late pick 4. Field of 10 go here. Mr. Disrespectful puts the blinkers back on him. He's the horse to beat, Tom. He's a very fast horse. He's drawn inside. Barrios rides back. What about you?
I agree with you, Kurt. Take a look at the running lines from Mr. Disrespectful. Ever since he's gone 2 turns back on March 23rd at Santa Anita, and ever since they put the blinkers on way back when, he's become a different horse. Every time he runs 2 turns, whether it's on turf or dirt, he always fires. Last time out, he didn't wear blinkers just for that one race. Now blinkers go back on. I like the inside draw. I like the early speed. Mr. Disrespectful, the horse to beat. A little bit of a long shot look, Kurt here, to a similar type of horse if you look at the running lines. Specifically, that would be number 10, the Gypsy Cowboy. Improving with blinkers off. Every single buyer speed figure is better than the previous one. Again, once they put this horse around 2 turns, he's excelled and improved. He's going to have to take a big jump up in terms of the race he runs, the quality race he wins.
But his win was huge, Alois.
It was,
and it was visually impressive.
And at 20-1, I'm willing to take a shot with him as well, despite the outside post. Inside and outside for me, Kurt, 110.
I thought Mr. Disrespectful, the horse to beat, no question. He's a top horse for me. I've got a long shot for second, too. I thought Pass the Baton might run well here. This is a horse who's routed well at this condition. He had to need his last race. He hadn't been out in a couple months. He ran even. 2 good works. I'm more and more impressed by this rider, Ruben Silveira, Tom. He can ride. He doesn't get bet. He rides for a lot of different barns. I think his business is just going to get better and better.
What about the ride yesterday on Kassan?
Exactly.
On the turf. Stayed inside, had a little bit of trouble, found room in the lane, switched leads, and then it just exploded. Does nothing wrong, and like you said, you're going to get him at a good price because most players don't know who he is, even though you and I do.
Solid veteran rider. 1-8 for me with a Pass the Baton, the price horse to get in the exacta. 8th race, good luck, Tom. I just finished finalizing a pick 6 with my gambling partner. We used as many as we could in here. I think we ended up with five deep in this race. I thought this thing could go a lot of different ways.
It's interesting, right? Because the 5 furlong distance on the turf course, which is the only sprint distance here at Del Mar, makes things tricky. But I do like the inside horse, number 1, Yellow Card. Second off the layoff for trainer Michael McCarthy. Last time out, did nothing wrong. It's still eligible for the ship and win bonus. You get 2 starts in Southern California to take a crack at it. Last time out, beaten favorite, but just missed by a neck. I like the inside runner, Yellow Card, and I talked earlier before about Tajon Pass. Here he is. He drew post position number 5, beat Bad Uncle Barry. Bad Uncle Barry came back to run a 94 buyer speed figure in victory.
Impressive win.
Maybe somewhat flattering Tajon's Pass's 89 that he earned. If he jumps up just a little bit more, and he's a lightly raced son of Justify, he could improve as well. Could be a big day for trainer Peter Miller. I'll make it 1-5, but like you said, Kurt, not a whole lot of conviction.
Yeah, I picked the outside horse, For All Mankind. His only turf race was good. It was way back in 2023, and obviously he had some issues, and he still ran well. He ran into a horse named See Through It. It was an absolute professional racehorse. He's won about 100 races. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but he's won a ton of races. For All Mankind on top. Yellow Card, I thought, ran very well in the feet last time. That's the race. Booksmart is one of the fastest horses on the grounds, right, Tom, for a half mile. He just ran a lot of those horses off their feet. He's so fast. So I went 9-1. Even Jerry Spirit's got a little grass pedigree and is also fast. Good race in race number 8. All right, on to the Pat O'Brien. We scratched a 5, 8, and 9. Some of those are entered back tomorrow in a very tough allowance race. How do you sort out Baffert, D'Amato, and Glatt in this one?
It's the grade 2 Pat O'Brien with a purse of $250,000, Kurt. And the key to the race, there's a couple keys. I'm going to digress for just a minute. It's a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. So I think a few of the trainers are actually using this potentially as a prep race, hoping that their horses win today and then proceed into the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Also, I would tend to disagree with you slightly on one thing you said before we came on camera. To me, it seems like a very humid day today. I'm not trying to be Al Roker from NBC News, but I looked it up. The humidity here at Del Mar is actually 86% today. A little bit more humid than what we're used to. And the reason why I bring that up is, you well know, Kurt, bleeders do not like humidity. And the morning line favorite, number 2, Speedboat Beach, you can see in his last performance at Churchill Downs on Kentucky Derby weekend, bled and had to be vanned off. I'm not saying he can't win, but he's a short price. This is just his second race since December of 2023. Bob Baffert can work miracles, but I actually like the other Bob Baffert runner, and that would be number 4, May Moon. We also haven't seen him in a long time. He's undefeated in his career, but he's the Baffert horse, I think, that would do best in a Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile situation. Speedboat Beach, I think it would be asking a lot of him to go 2 turns in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. For May Moon, not so much. Kaz Camaro, the jockey on May Moon, his agent is Brian Beach. You well know Brian Beach and Bob Baffert get along like peanut butter and jelly. He had Victor Espinoza when American Pharoah won the Triple Crown. Brian Beach always is able to get his foot in the door in the Bob Baffert barn. And in my opinion, he's got a chance to not only win the Pat O'Brien, but qualified for the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Likewise, Kurt, my other selection is the Phil D'Amato trainee, number 6, Stronghold. Stronghold easily comes out of the best races. That Pegasus World Cup Classic produced 3 next out graded stakes winners. He's a $1 million earner. He won the San Diego Derby. He's another horse that I think maybe today, if he can somehow sneak up for the victory at 7 furlongs, he's going to adore the 2 turns down at Del Mar. So I'm not only handicapping the Pat O'Brien for today, Kurt, but I'm also handicapping it for the first weekend in November. For those 2 reasons, I'll use 4 and 6 on my tickets and throw out Speedboat Beach.
I'm going the other way. To me, I thought it was a 2-horse race. I thought it's Stronghold and Speedboat Beach. I picked Stronghold. He's trained well. He's run well here. He's just a really good horse. And Speedboat Beach, to me, is the horse to beat. I think he'll fire giant off the layoff. So I'm going to go 6 and 2 in the Pat O'Brien. All right, we get to the 10th and final time. Another difficult race. I hope to be alive in the pick 6, and I hope I got enough horses here. This is a race that can go many different ways. The Alsos didn't get in. What do we do here?
Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, Kurt, but
okay.
I like a horse at a price here, and it's the Rail filly. Number 1, Guilty of Having Fun. You and I are old enough to remember the dam, Excess Gold, who was trained by Jim Cassidy.
Yeah.
I looked up her race record at DRF Formulator. All 3 of her career wins around 2 turns. Now, they've tried Guilty of Having Fun around 2 turns twice, and she certainly didn't disappoint herself, finishing a close second and a close third. Now, off the short layoff, she goes from a sprint to a route, and that's the kind of the key to the race. Is trainer Andy Mathis has done this twice already this meet. Just a Kiss, you'll remember, went from a sprint to a route, hit the winner's circle. Prince of Del Mar, he did that with another horse as well. Just missed, finishing second by a neck at odds of 11-1. Andy Mathis knows what he's doing. He's one of my favorite Northern California-based trainers, now based in Southern California. I like Guilty of Having Fun, particularly at 8-1. And nothing is forever. 1-for-1 over this Del Mar turf course. I don't know the reasons why. Trainer Steve Knapp went into the claim box and claimed her last time out, but I think that might have had something to do with it. He gets a hungry rider in Edwin Maldonado, who's going to get her a little bit closer to the pace. I'll make it the inside 2 to close it out.
Yeah, it's a good betting race, good gambling race, I thought, Tom. I like the 4, Hello Kiddo Kiddo. You can see in my PPs I drew a light bulb, just so I remember. The light bulb angle, one of my favorites, and watching this filly throughout her career, she's a very difficult horse to ride. You can see her running. It's pulled, ranked, broke through gate. Juan Hernandez seemed to just really get along with it. I really think that played a big part in the way she won. Nothing against riders who on her. Sometimes certain guys just fit certain horses. I think she's getting better. I think she'll step up more today. And then for second, I thought True Patriot had kind of an uncomfortable trip. Ran well here last summer off the claim for Hess. Just a comeback race, sprinting to get the horse fit. And then last time really didn't have clear sailing till very late. I love Barrios riding back. He doesn't ride a lot for Hess, but he rides back. 1 next out winner out of that race already. So I went 4-6 to wrap up the card. Any chance of a double carryover, Tom?
I think there is, Kurt, right? I mean, the key is what happens to the 2 Bob Baffert runners in the Pat O'Brien. If one of them gets beat, even if it's by Stronghold, that's going to be the horse that's not on as many tickets as the 2 Bob Baffert runners. So if the Baffert runners get beat in the Pat O'Brien and we have a couple of crazy results going through the rest of the sequence, there is a chance for a double carryover.
I hope there's 1 ticket right here. That'll do it. Thank you, Tom.
You're buying drinks if you hit it.
Absolutely, for the rest of the meet, Tom. Thanks for watching, everyone. Post time 39 minutes away. I'll be down in the paddock in about 20.